Yesterday, I completely maxed my Squad Busters account, taking every single unit to the Ultra tier. And this might sound weird, but it actually completely changed my experience of the game, but probably not in the ways that you were expecting. So in this video, we're going to do three things. We're going to talk about the power level of the Ultra tier of unit, because it's fresh for me. I know what it's like to have super units, know what it's like to have everything at Ultra. The difference, I will explain to you. From there, we'll talk about the immediate consequences of having maxed my account, because they're serious. Well, I mean, I don't know, it's a game, whatever. And then we'll talk about what's next, which by the way, is the ultimate tier. That's 5-star evolutions, and we'll talk about how we know exactly what that is. So first things first, let's hit the power level. Was it worth it, Chisgule? Do you get to just roll your face on the keyboard? I mean, you know, on the tablet and collect wins? Well, I mean, there's really no denying that there is a power level boost in getting ultras. For example, the Barbarian King gives you a super rage spell. And if you didn't know what a rage spell does, it gives you a 60% damage boost for 10 seconds. Well, the Barb King giving you a super rage spell is even better, because that's a 15-second buff and it's a 100% damage boost. Do you notice it? Yes. Yes, my friends, you notice it. By the way, that's just the Barb King, who I probably will put on the thumbnail of this video. Every unit that I have in my collection is now at the Ultra tier. And one thing I really noticed is that the epics get a much more meaningful power jump than the rares, which get a much more meaningful power jump than the commons, I think. This to me seems to be the case, because when I took my commons to the Ultra tier, like when I brought my Greg up, I was like, yes, I've got a Greg at the Ultra tier. I get 1 extra heart when I chop a tree. And you know what a heart does. Like, you pick up a heart, it gives you a little health. That's what Ultra Greg does. He gives you a heart when he chops a tree. It was not noticeable. It did not change my life. Some of these spells for the epics and the rares and the things that are happening, like the wizard giving you an extra spell whenever you kill a boss mob. Yep, nope, you notice it. You notice it. But there are some things that actually don't change at all. You can still get third-partied, where somebody else rolls up on you when you're doing something else. And by the way, if they've got a max, they can come out of nowhere and boom, they start popping a couple of your units, and they may even run away. Doesn't matter that you might be able to beat them. Or maybe you're fighting another player and you're really in the thick of things and it's a tough 1v1 that you're gonna win with your Ultra tier units until that second guy shows up, and then actually now they have you surrounded. GG. So yes, some things have changed and some things definitely have not. But do you know what actually was more noticeable, maybe in some cases, than having Ultra units, is whether or not you use a fusion key? Like, if you want to notice a jump of power immediately, use a fusion key at the very first opportunity in a match. The point I'm trying to make here is that keys are really powerful. You probably already knew that. I'd like to see the power level on keys, I don't know, changed, or the way you get keys changed, or the frequency they get used in matches evened out with everybody. Keys are weird. I don't have the answer, but what I'm trying to say is keys are also super powerful. So if you want to know what it's like to get Ultra units, just pop a fusion key. And I know, like, you can have fusion keys and Ultra units, but what I'm trying to say is that power level jump is also really big, and in some cases is even more noticeable than taking a unit to Ultra, like for example Ultra Greg. Not very noticeable. Having an extra fusion unit in your squad that gets drafted, very noticeable. Which brings us now to the consequences of having maxed out my account. What are they? And they actually are numerous. When you take any unit to Ultra, that unit will no longer show up in your rewards or in the shop. Now, when you take all commons to Ultra, you can't open chest tickets anymore. Like, you know how you get chest tickets? You literally can't open them. It stops all your progression towards your rare and epic units, which, look, I don't know that the game is expecting you to have done this already. I don't know how many people in the world have actually maxed out all of their commons. Probably not that many people. And this may even be a signal that we will get the ultimate tier soon, because there's not an overflow progression system for a number of these things. So maybe that's coming very, very soon. We'll talk about that more in a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. Another consequence of having maxed out all my units is that I can open chests, but I don't get anything. So if I go into my portal and I try to like open a chest for my squad, you know, journey, no, I get literally nothing. It's like, oh, sorry, nothing to give you. Like, you don't get any consolation hammers for your cosmetics. You get literally nothing. And I can't consume any chest tickets anymore, by the way. So I can't even do something like Terra's Mystery Challenge that shows up. I can't complete it because it requires you to use chest tickets, and I can't do that. So the only thing I still can collect in the game is hammers toward cosmetics and trophies on the leaderboard. And I don't really care all that much about the leaderboard other than to establish some amount of authority into what I'm saying, because I've actually played against some of the best people in the world and see them pretty regularly if they're queuing up and I'm queuing up. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that when you get to ultra tier, it exposes the fact that there's something else that needs to be here. It's not here yet, and I'm one of a small number of lunatics that's in this club of people that have maxed out the progression system in Squad Busters. Even the little chest in your city that refreshes every day, it said it would give me 1 gold. It gave me 1 gold when I tapped it. I think it also gave me a key maybe, but like when you tap it, it doesn't give you, units anymore for whatever reason. But what's perhaps even more important is that the way I think about the game has changed very dramatically and very suddenly. Like before, I cared a lot about top placement and I would get sweaty in matches trying to maintain my spree because I want to get those extra taps on the chest, And now, like, I don't even open chests at all. Maybe I'll take my spree to 2,000 games, like just to be like, haha, I did it. Isn't that interesting? Then once I've done that, I probably let my spree die because it's not worth the gold to refresh it, really. I mean, other than like flexing on the internet that I spent gold to maintain my spree. I'll be honest, the games are a lot less stressful now, and it's probably just copium, but I'm not sure I'm as motivated to try hard in certain circumstances, and I'm doing goofier things just because they might be fun, like trying to take out the Mega Mole, even though you should never try to take out the Mega Mole. It's just going to rain those gems literally everywhere. Other people will get them too. The point is not to do that, but like there is an achievement you can get if you go and do it. And here I am going and doing these little side quests that end up costing me the game. So if you aren't actually pushing rank in Squad Busters, what's actually the point of logging in to play the game after you max out your account? I'm actually asking, you're just gonna have fun? Like you're not collecting anything? And the point I'm trying to make here is that the collection in the game is actually fun, even though it feels really slow and grindy to get any unit to ultra. I actually really like collecting a lot, which is a huge part of the reason I play mobile games. And so if you're going to go max your account, which most people aren't going to do, certainly not by just spending a bunch of money, that's going to shortchange your experience of actually just, like enjoying collecting and feeling like you're accomplishing something as you go. Of course, am I even really at the end game? Let's talk about the ultimate tier. How do we know it's the ultimate tier? Well, guess what, my friends? There are a number of achievements listed in both the Apple App Store and Google Play, and I only am missing 1 achievement in both of those platforms. Guess what achievement it is? It's called the Final Form. Okay, and what does the final form have as its description? It says evolve a character to ultimate. Well, we know what evolving is. Every time you upgrade your star level, that's evolving. And ultimate, it has to be 5 stars, right? I mean, it's a pretty safe bet that it is the 5-star thing is an ultimate evolution. But another clue that tells us this is if we actually go and look when you unlock your first ultra unit, instead of having a little locked icon, it now says 1 out of 10. Well, wait a minute. I need 10 ultra units to get an ultimate unit? Is that how that goes? So if it cost me $1,500 and a bunch of gameplay to get 1/10 of the way to an ultimate unit, that mean an ultimate unit to get all of them maxed out in a Squad Busters account would run you $15,000 to rush it? Maybe more? I don't know what it's gonna cost, but we know it's 10 babies to a classic, 10 classics to a super, 10 supers to an ultra, and ultra now says 1 out of 10. They could have had it just say 1. It could have just said 1, but it says 1 out of 10. So will I go spend $15,000 to get every ultimate evolution the moment it drops in game? Subscribe to find out.